December 15th, 2019 will go into the history books as the final WWE pay-per-view of the decade. And what a way to end it off. What a way. Only one, two good matches, three good matches. In a match that should have been the main event. In a crappy finish. In a boring match. We started off our kickoff with only one match, luckily, because it was TLC. And it was Humberto Carrillo against Andrade. And it was what we expected, with a bit of history and a bit of relationship issues after Zelina Vega was nearly attacked after Andrade had a bloody nose after, I think, a reversal off of Reverse Frankensteiner that Vic Joseph didn't call. He was confused and called an amazing move he never heard before. The dude had been in calls all night. He called a super kick, a Superman kick. He even called a Superman punch. Michael Cole even called I think it was a spear, a Superman. What in the fudge cake was Vic Joseph doing? He's just a cookie cutter Michael Cole that's bland and he can make any other big move. The match of the night was Aleister Black and frickin' Buddy Murphy, hands down. Good coordination, decent storytelling, and to show the hot shot shit talker out of Buddy Murphy was obviously going to lose to Aleister Black, but it was a violent fashion. I like that match. The dude was so monotone and felt like, oh, what a great match. And they were discussing over the supercard ranking of Buddy Murphy and Aleister Black. They were more situated on selling merchandise of an app that already exists than a freaking live pay-per-view live in the afternoon while people are watching. When Sunday Night Football is on now. So what is that supposed to tell you about how WWE's priorities are with their own live pay-per-views? In a great match with Aleister Black. I'm going to start with the first match that I was a bit late to watch because I was too focused on the game because of playoff predictions. I mean, Week 15 predictions. If you don't watch my NFL value content, you guys just are here for the pro wrestling. Okay. I wanted to do other subjects, but school, and that will completely change come the 22nd of December. Dude, this match was good. I felt that they were a bit too predictable off the spots. They already failed off a superplex earlier on the finish when Biggie Langston was just chucking over ladder to ladder. And I thought, okay, two ladders were coming up. As soon as Scott Dawson was trying to go up to the ladder, I thought, oh god, Xavier Woods was coming. Because Biggie Langston was out. He did his mid-rope spear. The match was going fun. It was a fun match. It ended up with, obviously, the New Day picking up. There was no new champions in the entire show. Jesus Christ. No tone shift for the entire show. You know how devaluing belts are right now. As Seth Rollins beaten the most threatening, intimidating, and the most dominant wrestler in the company we have right now, out of Brock Lesnar, twice on two major pay-per-views, and he's still not taken seriously. And, wow. We get back CM Punk on Fox, and the dude doesn't even want to presume himself with wrestling. We have John Morrison that's supposed to be on Fox, and we don't even know what time he's going to be pulling up, if he's going to even wrestle currently. And this match was fun. It just didn't tell much of a story, thanks this was last minute. It's the 15th that this pay-per-view started. And it's the 26th come the Royal Rumble next month, so the build-up is completely undersold. It's like you want dinner at 3 p.m. You know you could have waited a little bit longer, right? You know you could have waited, but you wanted to eat it already. And guess what? You have nothing else to have for the rest of the night. Oh god. This ended at 10:21. I mean, like 10 after. After a really underwhelming finish. But the match was fine. It was a fun little pick-me-up match, even though you could have just kicked it off with Aleister Black versus Buddy Murphy. Thinks it was only one-on-one match that didn't mean anything, while anything else was personal or either a championship match. That there was only like 4, and it was just the one of the there was another one that was supposed to be just succeeding to another feud. Side note, I just want to bring up that Universal Championship match with The Miz and Daniel Bryan. They might be selling it to be a triple threat come the Royal Rumble, or just a different stipulation with Daniel Bryan and Bray Wyatt. They treat The Miz like an obstacle, even though for the past 2 weeks they just rushed over a feud just to give Daniel Bryan I'm a good father, but I also molest 16-year-olds look. Like, it's that difficult to follow on a storyline. Thanks, you guys now have 2 brands that can share the same pay-per-view, and you guys can at least have a bit more breathing room. But you guys want to do pay-per-views in Saudi and unnecessary live events on the network, and then you got NXT to deal with. Like, is there like no breathing period where you guys have at least some aspect of respect for yourselves, or at least for your wrestlers? These guys get injured for no effing reason because of their overconsumption of content and traveling that these assholes got to do. They got to do shit in China. They got to do shit in America. Come back. They got to go to Saudi. And then some of them don't even want to show up the freaking Saudi. It's really scary to me. And then we do this spot where Biggie Langston literally did a spear off the mid ropes. Even the last time it looked like he broke his neck. Then he comes around aiming thickly on his shoulder. I swear it looked like he was going for a hard thud. And none of the commentators could speak. Vic Joseph was the weakest link in the entire show. There was a good, Trouble in Paradise. They tossed Kofi Kingston off the ladder. He came back, rebounded for a tornado DDT on Scott Dawson. Then Trouble in Paradise out of nowhere off Dash Wilder. It's still awesome that they keep calling the Human Highlight Show when we know just a few months ago, he main evented the first Friday Night SmackDown of this October and lost in 7 seconds against Brock Lesnar. They even used that as a sideburn. It's like, he was WWE champion. How depressing is that? How depressing! That has to be depressing. How is nobody, like, doing this? Like, imagine if Shelton Benjamin back in the day when he was popular, like, he was the Human Highlight himself. He had matches with Shawn Michaels, Jeff Hardy, Triple H, Kurt Angle, John Cena, all these guys. This guy's wrestled, and he might have, we make him WWE champion, and then he wins the Intercontinental title the next month after losing it to John Cena. And we just bring up he got super kicked off a springboard attempt on Raw a couple months ago. You know how upsetting that gotta be. I'd rather remember Rob Van Dam's reign and him doing weed and ruining his chance to be a main eventer than Kofi Kingston's over 6-month reign with the championship that he held since WrestleMania to SmackDown. So, what was I supposed to be getting from this? Other than underselling the fact that we just make championship belts for people to hold. There's no sense of prestige in these belts. Next match. We had Aleister Black. Sorry, bad way to transition, but still. Aleister Black faced off against Buddy Murphy in the best match of the night. I'm not gonna lie, this was a great match. Smartly, I hate that I'll toss my man's head under the turnbuckle, stick his head in, and he just gave enough shots to nearly kill him with 3 super kicks to the face while his face was back of his head was on the turnbuckle. Then he did this cool spot when he was about to do a little punt on the apron. Chucked his head on top of the post-Tron thing, and then chuck his head on the steel steps. My brother was watching it. We were like, oh shit, this guy's bleeding from the nose a lot. The blood was going up to Buddy Murphy's chest, and it was also going to his knee. It was like, oh fuck, he was bleeding heavily. And now I'm cussing. I'm trying not to do that because, YouTube is wimps. It's for wimps now instead of like showing people's actual feelings, content, and actual creative motives. And YouTube Rewind. Enough on that later. Just, by God, this match was violent. It told a simplistic story that NXT could have done. They made both these guys look like $1 million. Just the numerous amount of combos, reversals, combo, skip, heel kick, then the fast black mass that's a good finisher. And obviously, they don't want to use that submission move that Aleister Black used for a couple. I forgot already what was used. It was called Black Hole, some kind of front face lock submission hold that he only used to like win 2 matches via submission. It was a good match. This was a good fight, but I felt like the crowd felt a little dead. Sadly, and these guys were going ham. Bicycle knees off the wazoo. Reversal. Buddy Murphy had, I think, my favorite amount of offense I've seen in a long time. But these guys were being a bit too smarky with it. That looked too much like a indie match with the super kicks. It was like a number of kicks in very little submissions. Even if it did, it felt like a cooldown period other than like a legit part of the match where the guy was trying to actually dig in and give the opponent serious pain. That's how it feels like when nowadays you do submissions. It doesn't feel like you're submitting pain. It actually looks like you're just resting, and so is your opponent. So it just undersells the fact. If I was being Dave Meltzer, I would give this like a 4.5 out of 5. This was a really fun match for me to watch, and I would rewatch it just for the pain factor. And actually, somebody bled without a match stoppage, so I was happy. I mean, Andrade also bled in his kickoff match, but nobody really watched it. Next up was the Raw Tag Team titles on the line against the OC, and the OC ended up in a double countout against the Viking Raiders. And plus, they had KFC. People eating KFC ringside for the top WWE experience. And then they obviously set Carl Anderson through the table while the family was eating KFC. And it was a basic pop for a listen, I want to be serious as possible. I'd rather see the pennies back than these two monstrosities of belts. I did not see this match for the cold satisfaction of seeing the OC wrestle. They become unsuccessful, and then we have to wait until like late of the next year until they win the championships back with very little like interest. Thanks, these guys are the most basic WWE wrestlers we got, and these guys barely win the belts. Even if they do, the Viking Raiders are supposed to be the most dominant WWE superstars, even though they have faced jobbers since debuting on the main roster, and they haven't faced real competition since they were on NXT. They faced off against the Street Profits, the Undisputed Era, and Ricochet and Aleister Black. Now we come up into the main roster, Jobber, OC, and Street Profits. There's not really that much to come by in this match other than we know Ivor and Eric are good wrestlers. And they come around doing this promo, there will only be one, and there will still be war. The fans were over because it was Vikings, blah blah, Thor. Shut up. The Viking Raiders are terrible. They have no character other than they are fat, they have beards, and they can beat people up. That means they're Vikings, and Vikings are obviously cool in 2019. I am completely baffled. I'd rather see La Resistance back because at least French Canadians and wrestling goes hand to hand to make cockiness, pride, and insults in a basic foreign gimmick. What in the F are you going to do with Viking professional wrestlers holding the tag team titles, and you guys barely have a tag team division to begin with? Aren't the USL supposed to be on Raw or something? Where's the Street Profits? Why not just make this a triple threat tables match for the tag team titles? The Street Profits were just in a segment earlier tonight after the tables match with Lashley and Lana, bringing up something with vasectomy. Then they joined up a backstage brawl that happened with Corbin Lashley, just most of the guys that already wrestled before the main event. How was that good, interesting storytelling? It just brings up the guys we already see on TV almost every other freaking week, and they don't do anything interesting. Next up, we have Baron Corbin against Roman Reigns in a tables, ladders, and chairs match. What? But it ends in pinfall. So why not just call it an Extreme Rules match? Or, hey, mind you, I'm sorry, the gimmick of TLC is tables, ladders, and chairs. So what about we make tables, ladders, and chairs with pinfall and submission? And DQ, I'm joking, but still, what's wrong with you people? What's wrong with just making the name via Armageddon? Hell, just rip off the end from TakeOver from 2016. Just do something to make this feel like, oh, this is a pay-per-view. That means conclusive. That means end of feud, end of the year, something like that. Yet we know this feud's going to continue. Thanks, you only had 2 weeks to build up to TLC. And it's only the 15th of December. What were you people thinking? What's your schedule build up to think children or even adults have this much time to build up this much content? Not even I think your writers are building up literal freaking soot off this thing. This match wasn't much. Drop kicks, a spear, Dolph Ziggler intervenes. I don't know where Robert Roode is. He must be realistically hurt or not coming. Then the revival comes, hits the Shatter Machine. This match wasn't much except fight, punch, kick, a deep six out of nowhere. Baron Corbin, thinking he's a fast-paced wrestler, even though he's bland as hell, comes around with a tattoo looking like he's from Bar Rescue and scared straight, and he's an Aryan freaking high wizard. He does not fit any part of being a king other than he looks like a target cancer patient survivor. He's not interesting. Roman Reigns just makes this work, thinks these guys can't do promos. It's go away heat for both of them. Thinks nobody wants to see Roman Reigns until he gets viciously hurt by a person that's over, and Baron Corbin until he gets overshadowed by a person that can actually do a promo. And Elias wasn't even on the pay-per-view, even though he's been talking crap to Drake Maverick a majority of the year. A majority of the month. And literally having the best crowd reaction. Shouldn't that be more enticing than watching an impromptu match with the Viking Raiders, even though they already defended their title like a numerous amount of times? Don't you think that's a bit too much to watch on pay-per-view? I'm being serious. How did Bayley defend her championship? Against Lacey Evans, I've been talking smack to her most of the week, most of the month, or a tag team match. Oh, but no. Oh, but she's over. Freaking Becky Lynch is over. That means, and she's the most popular woman for I don't know, like 3 months from last year. So that means she's obviously profitable with just calling herself the man. Freaking Ginger Snap She-Mail with Charlotte Flair. That's a WNBA domestic abuser. This match was crap. This match was boring. A couple of there wasn't that much in with the heel. The numbers game just came into the Roman and he lost. So this match was just boring, punch kicky, and thinks there was no alliance with anybody Roman had. Basically made sense that the heels would try to play a factor, and yet he has a king gimmick and they keep roasting so why are you guys devaluing a tournament that you guys have been asking for the last couple of months, like the last few years, and then you devalue the king gimmick because Corbin's heel? That's kind of effed up. Like the same thing Steve Austin won. Was he not a king? Kurt Angle won it. Is he not a king? Didn't these guys become world champions after winning the King of the Ring? Except Regal and Wade Barrett. Holy crap, what are we doing with these guys? I think we really hate Englishmen to win the tournament. We really do hate Englishmen to win the tournament. That's pretty depressing, actually. Next up was Bray Wyatt against The Miz. And the shocker part of the match was Bray Wyatt wasn't the Fiend when he was going to face off against The Miz. He came up with his happy Firefly Funhouse persona other than his Fiend persona against The Miz. Earlier in the match, he even went for a skull crushing finale. He started with a big boot. He started battering the hell out of the Bray Wyatt, and he wanted to add more punishment because this feud was personal. And how this feud was personal was giving him a doll to his house and attacking him while cropping out a fake picture with him and his family in a picture. So that means pseudo feud that happened to make this somewhat personal, and for Miz to always like blow our minds with his good promo where he shows immense passion and shows how personal the feud is, and it's like, oh wow, this is gonna be great. I know he's gonna lose. So the point of this promo was to just devalue the Miz even more in his chances to even win a title so retarded as the Universal Championship, just for Daniel Bryan to come out later in the match after losing from Sister Abigail after trying to beat the clock off a count out and just getting fed in for his Sister Abigail. Then Daniel Bryan came giving the running knees, and I thought he was going to use the hammer to break down the Universal Championship. That I would have popped immensely for, because the belt looks like a fucking Laffy Taffy with die-cast Mattel metal on top of it, with, oh god, the WWE logo on it. Just please burn that belt. Please burn it. Oh god, burn it down. Speaking about it, they even did a promo of a literal important thing as Seth Rollins turning heel and associating with the AOP, and he did a promo the go home week of TLC. But thanks to this feud, we really don't know how far it's going to go. They're obviously going to save it until the Royal Rumble. So it makes a bit more sense, but we didn't have that many important matches. Daniel Bryan came around just looking like a school shooter. Daniel Bryan come around looking like himself from 2012, except with a shorter beard. Well, it's not a beard; it's a beard. It's not even complete. Daniel Bryan actually looking like the after effects after getting broad kicked, and then 18 seconds when he lost to Sheamus at WrestleMania 28. I'm sorry, I'm not done. I'm joking. I'm joking. I'm done. I'm done. We're done here. We're done. Next up, Lashley Rusev in a tables match. Even though the circumstances are already out, Rusev didn't even care about the divorce with Lana. All he wanted was Lashley for disrespecting him, embarrassing him, and cheating on him with his wife. And that sounded super gay, but still just vouch for me. I'm just trying to get for this pay-per-view as much as possible because everybody knew this match was going to happen, but they wanted it to happen at Survivor Series. Since we literally had no storyline feuds in Survivor Series other than Daniel Bryan, and Bray Wyatt, and Lesnar and Mysterio. No one really cared. There's too many matches on that show for me to even keep a hold of, and my head was hurting. Oh God. This match was punch kicky, a false finish. It even ended with a running power slam to the table that didn't break. So he just belly to belly suplexed him over to the other table. Lana was playing a factor, even insulting him, tossing away tables when Rusev had a chance. It was really heel wife of him. No reference to GTS. I don't fuck with them guys. Fuck Jersey. Uh, I'm just shocked that that's the way the match ended because I really thought they were gonna give him a feel good finish at the end of the year because he already had if he remarries he doesn't have to pay alimony, and it's like, oh god, and it's Rusev Day, everything was behind him except the win. Rusev came and went, come chucking up steel steps. The match wasn't even that impressive. It was just a basic tables match against two guys that obviously don't fit the mold of a tables match. They don't have that many exciting moves for a table. And it was just for Lana to just intervene and just for Lashley to look a bit stronger. Things he hasn't done much since that Braun Strowman feud. That came out of nowhere, but it was the only part when we saw Corey Graves said, holy shit, while they got speared for the Raw stage. So, yeah, you know the drill. Next up was the main event. That was the Kabuki Warriors against the Raw Women's Champion Becky Lynch and Charlotte in maybe the weakest match of the show. I dislike this match in some reasons that you would understand. It was slow, monotonous. They terrible camera work. It looked like none of these women wanted to wrestle. There was a double DDT after a failed attempt in a suplex while it was Kairi Sane that's under 150 pounds. And she somehow DDT'd both women that are heavier than her. There was a botched spear. There was a botched frog elbow drop on a table where it should have broke so easily that it would I would have cried. A teardrop I could have made could have broke that damn table. A fluffy powerbomb where it looked like Kairi Sane wasn't even trying to struggle out and fight back over a powerbomb, and she got hit with it violently. Asuka came flailing around a rope like she's a happy slaver. I really didn't care about the kendo stick if you wanted to bring back to that Rusev and Lashley match. The match wasn't even that good. Oh god, they were just trying hard to make this match feel violent and give the Boogie Warriors some gimmick, some crazy Japanese girl gimmick. Oh, that's cool. They're crazy and they scream, they spew out Japanese, and they don't work together as a tag team. It's depressing. Their handicap matches they had with Charlotte are way better, and Natalia works more because she is more experienced in tag team matches than Becky Lynch. She just felt like she was just trying to wrestle both of them while Charlotte was there, and she did a few cool moves, I guess. But they were so predictable and slow. The match didn't keep up as well as I thought, and the match was so monotonously fucking boring that you could have just watched any Jobber Angel Garza match, and that could have kept your attention because at least Angel Garza is exciting to see in the ring. No one really cared about this match other than we know that the Kabuki Warriors were going to retain. And it just ended off the night with everybody just fighting backstage like it was a 24/7 championship on the line. Speaking of that, what happened? We don't even know if that NASCAR guy lost it to like R-Truth or something. Like, what happened? No, but they never recapped later on in the show. They didn't even go to SmackDown. The belt is literally for any other brand exclusive. That means NXT 205 Live and SmackDown. So what's the point of just keeping that to the dark, like with the time when Kevin Owens was abducted after the week before Rollins turned heel? Like, there was no point. And then everybody just started fighting in the back for no reason. Then a huge splash from the top occurred, getting somehow everybody down, even though the dude is lighter than anybody else would expect. So why make that segment happen to just undersoul a really underwhelming TLC tag match for the belts? I tell you, man, that nothing can beat that Hell in a Cell match that happened with Sasha Banks and Becky Lynch. That was actually a good match. And now watching this TLC match sets me back into reality. Not every match is going to be good because you got good wrestlers in it. And it really tells. Especially that none of these matches told a story overly predictable. This was biting down on pay-per-view tickets because this was nothing. This was a nothing pay-per-view for just stuff to build up for the Royal Rumble when most of our guys are injured. Nakamura hasn't defended his title in a minute, other than that one time when he randomly defended against Roman Reigns, just to end it off a no contest. Even though we just got that belt, just a new design, and it's already devalued. A boring match with Lashley and Rusev, then a overly predictable match with Bray Wyatt with his stupid mallet that it's never going to be used to actually harm anybody except a hit to the gut. So it's technically Triple H, but at least Triple H, he stopped power bombs, was hitting somebody in the head with a sledgehammer. He knocks people out. He breaks objects. It's literally just used as sadistic, cartoonic effect. Like Yandere can use that, and that could be more effective than when the Fiend uses it. This show just proves the effects of no planning, no storytelling, no schedule making, just nothing. Just matches that they put on the fly. Some matches that they just put out of complete. Oh, this never happened yet, so we're just gonna make it happen on pay-per-view. This just pours in laziness, and I really disliked this show, except a few set pieces. This show was just bad, to be honest. I'll give it a 4 out of 10. This felt rushed. Nobody was ready. This wasn't easy to consume, and most of the movies you saw in this shows are just going to be compilations. Like, there's nothing memorable about this pay-per-view other than Daniel Bryan coming back. So, and it only took like 3 weeks, so no one really cared that much. It was kind of underwhelming. So that's it for me joining the DLT show. This is your boy. I really disliked TLC. If you want to comment down below, I will be happy to comment to you back and subscribe for more. Thanks for watching.